Hello and welcome to the Asylum, the month of Dismember. I'm sticking with that pun. I don't care if you
Hey, it
people.
fits this movie though.
That is true. I don't care if you people like that pun or not. I'm sticking with it because I'm very proud. So I'm your host Don, and with me, as always, well, not always, but most of the time, is my
Every time but once.
yeah. Well, I also skipped out on you once, so that's fair. My
Technically
excuse
three
wasn't
times.
my excuse wasn't nearly as good as yours, though. Uh,
Hey, my voice is at least sounding better than last time.
Yeah, you don't sound like you are on the brink of death this time, so that's good.
The
Prog,
last two times I've sounded like the brink of death.
yeah,
But
progress.
this one does fit the month of Dismember because there is an awful lot of death in this movie.
There is a absurd amount of death, and they're all pretty funny, in my personal opinion. So that's right. Today we're talking about Two-Headed Shark Attack, which
From
I kept
2012.
which I kept forgetting what the name of this movie was, and I just kept referring to it as Shark Attack because there are four movies in the franchise. They start at two and they end at six,
Yep.
which, if you do the math, doesn't work. Um,
But this movie stars three very well known people for not acting. Carmen Electra, he plays a doctor. Yes, a doctor.
Theoretically,
Brooke Hogan, the daughter of Hulk Hogan, is the star, I guess.
that was Hulk Hogan's daughter.
Yep.
All right,
One who's afraid of water.
yeah, she
And
looked.
then
That explains why she looked vaguely familiar.
and Charlie O'Connell is a professor, and I know him mostly from what the new guy in Dude Where's My Car?
Was he the one that was in Crossing Jordan, or was that Jerry? Because
Uh
doesn't he have a twin brother? That because
yes, he
that
has Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, because they're in the new guy together.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's Charlie in the new guy,
yeah,
and he's one of the main characters, Tommy in Dude Where's My Car.
which is
But
classic.
and he's in Cruel Intentions, but not the characters anyone cares about.
I actually thought he was Kevin Sorbo at first.
Yeah, and
Is
then
he?
I realized Kevin Sorbo would not be in this type of movie.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a young Kevin Sorbo. Like, well, not a young Kevin Sorbo. He looks like Kevin Sorbo between Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Supergirl. Like somewhere in that age is what he
That
looks like
works.
to me, at least. But yeah, so I thought it was Kevin Sorbo at first, and I was like, "Is that Kevin Sorbo?" And it like took the whole movie for me to be like, "That's not Kevin Sorbo," and I had to look it up. So
And the rest of the cast doesn't really matter. They're just all playing college students essentially who are on a boat. The boat gets damaged, and so they find themselves on this
well, first
tiny little island.
we got to talk about the opening with the two-headed shark eating the random people. This movie just opens up immediately with eye candy, which is exactly what I personally was hoping for. And how about I don't even
You can
remember
tell it.
what were they even doing? They're just in the water for some reason, and then out of
Wait, they
nowhere.
weren't the ones. They weren't the threesome in the water. That was later.
Oh, no, no, no! That was the. These was the. It was a speedboat with two
Oh yes,
girls water skiing in the back, and the guy's just like staring at them bouncing, and
of
then
course. There's lots of eye candy in this movie. Lots of TNA.
and then the two-headed shark just pops out of the water and eats
It
them
eats
both at the
both.
same time.
Yep.
And then it ate the speedboat, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Uh,
And yeah, so this basically starts with um a bunch of college students on a boat, and it gets damaged somehow, and they find themselves on this not
because
deserted but
this
deserted small
supposed
island.
captain was stupid. So like a rare fish that's like really big, like popped out of the water, and he decided to try to fish it out of the water
Fish it,
from
fish
the
it,
boat, and
fish it.
then he couldn't get it because it was too heavy, and went into the back of the boat and got caught in the propeller, which somehow caused damage to the whole
Yep.
of the boat, and thus the boat started sinking. So they
Go to this island to get random metal parts to fix it because they all know how to do that when they're drunk, staring at boobs, and on an island without tools.
Yeah. Well, they had a welder, which also didn't make much sense. But they had
Who carries a welder?
the
No, I mean like who would carry? That's not something you just carry.
Well, I mean,
Like someone saying, "I have a soldering gun." Why would you have a soldering gun?
It was on the boat for repairs. So we get introduced to the characters, none of whose names I remember because none of them matter. But we get introduced to characters. You got Charlie O'Connell, who is the captain. You get Carmen Electra, who's supposedly a doctor.
Dr. Babish.
But I
or
don't
Babish.
that they actually like mention that she's a doctor until about 40 minutes into the movie. She's just kind
of make out with a chicken, die.
Yeah, she's just kind of and then you have the captain's first mate, whose name I don't remember, also eye candy. And then you have
Dana?
Yeah, I think Dana was her name. And then you have the quintessential jock jerk character, who is the only person who brought his cell phone for some reason. And then you have Hulk Hogan's daughter, who's afraid of water.
Yep.
But went on a boat for funsies. And then you have the smart kid, Paul, who knows everything for some reason, and then a bunch of unimportant cannon fodder.
Paul has an interesting face.
Most of which are very attractive cannon fodder, both the male and the female cannon fodder.
Yeah, they're basically wearing bikinis and showing boobs a lot in this movie.
There are boobs in this movie.
Quite a bit of them. Quite a few of them.
There are because it would not be a good Asylum film if there was not a lesbian scene.
And the weird thing is the director of this one actually has been nominated, is Emmy nominated.
Before or after he made this movie?
After. He did a series called The Bay, which is about rich people in bikinis going out and indulging in their lifestyle. And yeah, it's a drama series. But so this movie I'll just talk about this. The shark. In a couple scenes, the shark is practical. It looks pretty bad. The teeth are very bendy and don't really bite into things in the practical one. But at least they built a practical shark.
That's true.
There's also a CGI shark, which I don't know if you noticed this, but it has magical shrinking and growing abilities.
Which is common for an Asylum creature feature.
It goes in very shallow water and nothing pops up. Like, does its fin bend down?
Which is even better because at one point they mention how it can't follow them because they're in shallow water, and then it doesn't. But then it can also kill somebody later in shallow water because that's the kind of quality.
And nothing pops up at all. Its fin's not there. I do find it interesting. So they originally wanted to make this shark like heads on top of each other. And that's the original design. But then they gave it to like the FX people and they said, no, it'll be just next to each other.
Yeah.
Which honestly, the design of the shark makes no sense. And I imagine it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a triangle shape on number 3. We'll see. But yeah, so they end up on this atoll, which gets corrected multiple times. It's not an island, it's an atoll. So they end up on this atoll and they start trying to find parts, and the shark starts picking.
Isn't an atoll just an island with a reef around it?
It's an island on a reef, yeah. Yeah. We get a backstory about Hulk Hogan's daughter, who saw a shark once and therefore is afraid of water.
Saw a shark, yes.
Yes,
not a two-headed shark. I'm not even sure how the heck this shark exists. Did I blink and miss something? Why there's a two-headed shark out here?
The really smart dude says that it must have just been like a random mutation, but it's weird that it managed to survive that long. Like, they don't ever actually explain that I caught, at least.
If there's not aliens involved by the last one, I'm going to be disappointed. The aliens are the CIA.
That's fair. I would expect nuclear radiation, but it was made.
Or Nazis.
Movies were made in the 2010s, and we kind of swung away from nuclear radiation as the cause of things around the end of the 90s, thanks to the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie.
Yeah, but this could have been Nazis. We do have sky sharks and random things like that.
It could have been Nazis. They were responsible for a lot of sharks. Anyway, so they're on this island trying to find metal. Then we get our lesbian scene, which is really rough for the one dude. So there's this guy convinces these two girls with very easily convinces these two girls to go skinny dipping with him, and they start making out in the water naked. And then they're like, "Hey, you gonna join in?" He's like, "Oh yeah, definitely." And then when he's like, "Oh yeah, definitely," he like sees the shark fin in the distance and like doesn't mention it, and then they all get eaten. And I felt really bad for that guy because like he had a dream come true and then snatched right out from underneath him.
Sure. I will say the body count in this movie is very impressive.
It's very high. Yeah, they
Quite
kill
literally, basically everyone dies, but like
the smart dude
very
and
few.
Hulk Hogan's daughter. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. At some point, the captain gets hurt. I don't know how, but he just starts bleeding from his leg.
Yeah, he does just start bleeding from his leg. I
Yeah.
remember Carmen Electra gets hurt too, but she got bitten a little bit.
Yeah. So then the shark starts killing people, and so now they know that they're sharks, and they come up with this thing where like apparently sharks are attracted to sound waves in the water, and that's what the sharks are tracking. So they come up with this ridiculous idea to put a metal fence in the water and then charge it to distract the sharks while they try to make repairs on the boat, which inevitably fails, and then more people get eaten. Yeah, that's pretty much
That would
it.
just fry everything connected to
Yeah,
that fence.
yeah, it made no sense. That's pretty much it. So then the atoll starts sinking, and there was like this is like one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie. So the atoll starts sinking, and
Well, the island's sinking this entire time for some reason. I don't know why. Why is this island sinking?
I don't know. They don't really just reasons. I don't. That's probably why it was deserted, though, is because it was going to sink. Yeah, so that's the practical shark. This scene is important. I will explain that scene in a moment.
Those eyes are just glorious. Look at those. Look at that quality hard shark with very bendy teeth. You can see it. Look at those teeth. They're bendy. They look like pieces of pizza.
They're literally bending in the photo.
There's
That's
yes. There's more hot.
More eye candy. More eye candy. That's actually the scene from the opening, but those eyes are more lifelike.
There's a typical photo from the Asylum, very out of focus. Yep, that's also why this movie exists. Yeah, that looks like the CGI. I don't know how this thing really breathes and survives. Yep, also CGI for this movie.
Yep, badly taken photo. Why?
Yep.
Why would it be the photo you went with?
Yep, there's that one.
This is another one of my favorite scenes that we'll talk about because you've interrupted me talking about my favorite scenes.
Yeah, I just figured to put yep, they like to have lots of pictures of that one scene.
Well, that scene's important. But okay, so the island starts sinking.
It's a manatee.
This is distracting.
Okay, island sinking.
So the island starts sinking. So they go into a cathedral for some or a chapel for some reason.
Like not a cathedral. There's no cathedral on this island.
The chapel. So you go into a chapel, and obviously the chapel is full of water and is also sinking. So the shark follows them, and one of the characters pulls a handgun out of nowhere. She just suddenly has a gun and just starts unloading on the shark to no effect for some reason.
But well, considering they were all literally wearing like bikinis, where did the gun come from?
I don't know. And
was it hiding in her hoo-ha?
I don't know. Probably in her prison pocket. But so she starts trying to shoot it. She fails. Everybody in the cathedral dies except for the. If you go back a photo.
Back one photo.
I think it's back. Nope, one more. One more. That one. So, nope. That one. Okay. So
there's a nipple right there.
Anyway, so everybody dies except for the girl from the photo, Hulk Hogan's daughter and the smart kid. So they randomly come upon a barrel full of gasoline that's just floating in the ocean. And they come up with this idea that they're going to make a bomb from it. So the girl that was being eaten pulls a Zippo lighter, also out of nowhere. She pulls out,
Also in her hua.
yeah, right. She just pulls out this lighter. She's like, okay, I have this lighter, we can light it, which wouldn't work because that wick would be soaked, right? But so she's like, well, we can light it
Weren't
on.
Zippos made to be able to be struck without, like, weather?
They're supposed to be lightable, or they're supposed to stay lit in all weather. But if you soak the wick, you soak the wick.
Oh, okay.
You can't light a wet wick. Now a butane lighter would be different, but that's not a butane lighter. It's a Zippo. Um, anyway, so they decide to have the smart guy take his shirt off, and they're going to use the shirt, also completely soaked, as a fuse.
Yep.
And they're going to light it, throw the gasoline into the shark's mouth, and it's going to blow up the shark.
Because that's what Jaws had, kind of ish.
Yeah, which there's so many flaws in this plan. So, but they go with it. It fails. Thank you, Asylum, for being realistic on this. And then that scene where the woman is being eaten is her frantically trying to light the barrel on fire, which she eventually gets a spark.
That looks like a trash can.
Yeah, it 100%.
Go back to a shot that will not get us demonetized.
Yes, please. It's like one of the first photos.
That looks like a trash can.
Yeah. So she's trying to light this on fire.
Or a burn barrel at best.
Yeah, so she's trying to light this on fire. Eventually, while the sharks are eating her, she manages to strike the flame. It catches, blows up one of the heads, but the other head's still fine. So the shark is still able to swim around.
And won't drown at all.
And then they have a scene of it underwater, still smoking. So there's smoke billowing out of the exploded head while it's underwater, because that's how that.
When there's fires underwater, it's because it's burning chemicals, not because the fire is on the animal.
Yeah.
Let me pull up some other amazing photos.
So those were my two favorite scenes. That's a fantastic.
Well, that's the explodey shark.
That's the explodey shark.
Yep.
Yeah.
That scene was hilarious.
Oh, that scene. That is the jerk character manages to like get a life raft out because the sharks are attracted to noise. So he gets a life raft out and he's just floating away, and everybody's like, what a dick. And while he's floating away, his phone goes off, and the sharks immediately home in. It was great because that character was the worst and he deserved to die. And then they flip him into the air.
Yep. That shot is amazing.
It's so good.
Look at that spread. There was so much gore in this movie.
It was great. I loved it.
They really like taking pictures. Like that, those teeth are. Look at that tooth. Look at that tooth. It is bending. That is like a tongue tooth.
Oh, also right before this scene, the sharks were attacking Hulk Hogan's daughter, but she managed to fend it off and not get bit at all. She like got between the two heads and just started trying to stab it with.
And she didn't even like suplex it or something.
Right, what you would expect.
You think she'd like body slam it from a raft or something?
Yeah, if Sabin can suplex a train, she can suplex a shark. Like, give it.
Did you notice in some of these scenes, even the people were CGI'd for some reason? Because like suddenly people like changed texture and shape, and got really flippy.
It was wonderful, wonderful.
Like, could you not film divers at all? Could you not film anyone underwater?
Apparently not. How did
that? Yep.
How did? Oh yeah. So then, due to wonderful movie physics, so the way this movie ends, there's Hulk Hogan's daughter on the left and the smart guy. Yeah, Hulk Hogan's daughter on the left, smart guy is right next to her. I don't remember who that girl is. But also
Tara, maybe something like
that. I did not catch a single character's name throughout this entire.
Food.
Yeah, right.
He was food. Ooh, the Japanese poster doesn't look much better. It looks like two sharks.
It does. Yeah,
That's a poster.
that's a good poster right
One
there.
body, two heads, 6,000 bendy teeth of pizza.
So in a beautiful use of movie science, they end up killing the two-headed shark by sending another speedboat out into the water without them in it, knowing that the shark is going to attack it. The shark bites the boat and it explodes inside of its mouth. And
This
then
shark is freaking huge.
that is a wonderful shark.
In fact, the shark in the movie, just ever growing.
Ever growing. At least in Mega Piranha, they had an explanation for why they constantly grew.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the synopsis for Two-Headed Shark Attack.
It's a ridiculous movie.
It is. It's Asylum doing what Asylum does best. Um, I enjoyed this film. It was funny, self-aware, had plenty of eye candy, both men and women. Um,
Not
had
really. I wouldn't say, as far as the men go, like, eh,
dude.
even Steph was like, I get
What?
it. And Steph bats both ways, so
What? No, man. Freaking the muscle bound jerk was definitely good looking. I wouldn't have minded seeing the captain.
okay,
Without
that one was an impressive. Yeah, Steph walked in just before the boat got chomped.
Oh, nice, nice. Charlie O'Connell looked great, especially because he's in his late 40s
I was
now.
just trying to figure out who he was most of the time, and the fact that he's from "Dude, Where's My Car?" is like, wait, you're not a stoner?
Right. But yeah,
And Carmen Electra looks great all the time.
that's true. So plenty of eye candy, both male and female. So you can watch it with your significant other, and you should both enjoy it. It had a plot.
It's the standard Shark Week movie. It looks fine. It's not Sharkula. This is not Wild Eye Entertainment. There's at least some standards at Asylum. Some.
I don't
And the
know
standard usually is lesbian kissing, lots of gore, and screw the special effects. As long as it has two heads every time it shows up, it's fine.
if Battle Star Wars had some lesbian kissing, if only.
There's only like 7 people in that movie.
Yeah, so that would have been fine.
And I think the most skin we have is like midriff.
Yeah, midriff of the daughter, Alistair's daughter. Yeah. Anyway,
And the assassin lady.
yeah, and the assassin lady,
But
but not the robot.
but yes. But yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to say this is the greatest one. I will say it is impressive how much the body count's pretty cool. I will say
this is a good crappy movie night movie. This is like you could get a group of friends together to just watch this movie, and you're gonna get some good laughs out of it, and you're gonna enjoy yourselves. It's not, you know, grim Avengers, Shark Side of the Moon.
it's not really a good idea. It's just it's an idea that's been done a lot, but they do it fine.
Yeah. It's not up to the level of like Sharknado, Shark Side of the World, or Shark Side of the Moon, Grim Avengers.
I will say, if anything ruined this movie for me, is that stupid practical shark looked so bad. Like I respect them for trying. They did make one, but like once it started biting people and everything started bending and like flipping around, I wonder if they did use that practical effect. Someone said we spent all this money on it, and they started filming it, and the director was like,
This
"Oh,
sucks, but we
who
got
did we promise to use?
this sucks, but we got to roll with it."
We spent money on this somewhere. How much money? $12. Okay,
uh,
that's our lunch budget.
that's a pretty high budget for an Asylum film, honestly. Yeah, I would put this in the middle ground. Honestly, I think this is probably more watchable than Bigfoot.
Probably,
But
yeah. Well, it doesn't. It does help that there's lots of eye candy.
it's true. And no Alice Cooper.
That was all those famous musicians have to be in a movie to die.
It's a musician. There's no guest musician. But yeah, I would put it under Mega Python versus Gatorade. It's definitely not that good.
Yeah.
I would probably honestly, I'd also probably rather watch the Pirates Cove movie as well over this one. What's the name of that one again?
Pirate Cove one?
Yeah, the
Jolly
Curse
Roger?
Jolly Roger. That's it. Yeah, Jolly Roger. I would rather watch Jolly Roger than this, honestly. But it wasn't bad.
Well, I can say this. The next one has a lot more older cast members. It's here's who it has in it. Well, it has a British politician as one of the stars. Has Rob Van Dam, who
How can
is
you go wrong with
wrestler.
it?
Has one of the stars from Baywatch, because if you have Carmen Electra, you might as well have a Baywatch person in the next one,
Yeah,
right?
truth.
It has one of the people from Sharknado 5. Um, and she was a Miss Teen USA person. And it has Karusha Tran, who it looks like someone I should probably recognize. Let me look at this one.
Hold up.
3-Headed Shark Attack, Jay and Silent Bob reboot,
I haven't seen
The
that.
Bay. It makes sense that she was in the show that the guy made and got awards for. Ridiculousness. Oh, she's in the new Bel Air show. Okay.
She's in Ridiculousness, then I've probably seen her.
But
Stepson really liked Ridiculousness.
I'm not shocked. But it and it also has Danny Trejo,
Which is a good thing to have. Rob Van Dam and Danny Trejo, I mean, how can you go wrong?
If they don't suplex a shark, what's the point?
That's fair. Especially because they had Hulk Hogan's daughter in the first one and she didn't suplex a shark. So if Rob Van Dam doesn't either suplex or do like a high elbow drop on it, it's just a waste,
I'm just waiting for Diamond Dallas Page to show up in one of these. And if he doesn't do yoga, what's the point?
That's true. DDP is a yogi, so.
But yeah, we are we gonna try to find the? Did you say we can't find the third one?
So, according to Just Watch, let me look it up again real quick.
This is one on Flix Picks or something like that.
Yeah, according to Just Watch, we can't. So the original plan for you, which you, as my loyal viewers, probably already know, the original plan was that we were going to do all 4 of the headed shark attack movies. However, the only place that we can stream for free, because we don't spend money on this, because why would we? The only place that we can stream for free 3-headed shark attack is Flix Fling, which is a service I have never even heard of.
I've heard of, just never used.
Yeah, and then 5-headed shark attack is apparently on the Sci-Fi subscription channel. So that kind of prevents us from being able to continue bringing you all the joy of shark attack movies.
Which is the third one has the hottest chick, because I don't know, maybe I have a thing of darker skinned Polynesian women, but
that have you seen my wife?
Not in person.
That's fair, but my wife is Filipino, so, and she's adorable.
But
someday.
So what we're going to do though is we'll spin the wheel and we'll come back to sharks when they pop up, because why not? It wasn't bad enough that we want to be like, oh no, 14, 14, 14 is coming. If 14, 14, 14 does come, no. No. They tried making it, apparently.
I'll bite the bullet.
And the world was struck down with a pandemic.
That is why the coronavirus exists, because Asylum attempted to make 14, 14, 14. We saw what the first 3 did to Jeremiah. Wheel of Asylum, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the movie that we shall burn. Is this the Lord of the Rings ripoff?
Age of Hobbits. This is called Age of Hobbits at one time, and Warner Brothers smacked them in the face. We will watch this. I have seen the trailer, and I am giddy to figure out what the heck they were smoking.
God. Let's see what we can watch it on, because I don't want to get super excited and then find out we can't watch it.
I know we can.